Most people live the same day 10,000 times and call it a life. They don't grow, they repeat. Not because they're incapable, but because they don't practice anything that demands self-respect. You want to get ahead? You don't need more motivation. You need better rituals. Not flashy, not loud, but anchored, deliberate, and invisible to the average eye. And that's the advantage. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just feel inspired. You'll have 6 daily mental shifts that quietly put you years ahead of those who keep chasing loud success and ignoring inner mastery. Also, I've left a challenge for you in the comments. A single revealing question that will test your level of inner control. Answer it, and you'll not only see yourself more clearly, but you'll help someone else who's reading too. Let's start. The modern world doesn't reward reaction. It rewards composure, execution, clarity under fire. The Stoics didn't just believe in wisdom. They practiced it daily, in silence, in difficulty, in boredom. Here are 6 Stoic practices that, if done consistently, will make you emotionally untouchable, mentally sharp, and spiritually grounded in a world of noise. Practice delayed emotion, not just delayed gratification. Most people misunderstand self-control. They think it's about resisting a dessert or not buying something impulsive. But the real battlefield isn't on your plate. It's in your reactions. Self-mastery begins not with delayed gratification, but with delayed emotion. You want to be powerful? You want to be unshakable in life? Then you need to create space, a moment of separation between what happens to you and what you do about it. That moment, that pause, is everything. Let me ask you something. How many times have you ruined a peaceful day over something someone said in 5 seconds? Or lost sleep over a text that made you feel small? Or responded emotionally to a situation that didn't even deserve your attention? The truth is, we don't suffer from events. We suffer from our interpretation of events. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, who held the weight of an empire in his hands, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He didn't say maybe. He didn't say you might. He said you will. Because power isn't found in controlling others. It's found in mastering your first impulse. You feel anger rise. Pause. You feel like defending your ego. Pause. You want to lash out because you were misunderstood. Pause. Every time you don't pause, you trade your peace for an instant of pride. And let's be honest, that pride never lasts. You so ask yourself, what does reacting give me that peace doesn't? And then ask, what does peace give me that reaction never will? You'll see, the answer is always clarity. And that's what puts you ahead. Because while others are busy overreacting to criticism, getting offended over tone, starting fires with their own insecurity, you're responding from a place of strength. You're observing, not absorbing. You're slowing the world down, not speeding your stress up. And that, my friend, is rare. Now, this isn't about bottling things up. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being strategic with your energy. Think about it this way. Emotion is like a fire. Used correctly, it warms your purpose. Used recklessly, it burns your progress. So what do you do with this? Start small. Today, when someone annoys you, instead of immediately texting back, instead of defending yourself out loud, instead of letting your chest tighten and your voice rise, pause, breathe, let it move through you. Don't become it. This single shift, done consistently, will give you more emotional freedom, confidence, and clarity than any productivity hack you'll ever learn, because you'll realize something. You don't need to control the world when you can control how you meet it. 2. Start each morning with a mental rehearsal of difficulty. Most people wake up and hope the day is kind to them. The Stoic wakes up and prepares for the day to be cruel and shows up ready anyway. This practice has a name: Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, didn't see this as negative thinking. He saw it as emotional armor. You don't strengthen your mind by pretending life is gentle. You strengthen it by rehearsing life's rough edges before they arrive. Let me ask you something. When was the last time life went exactly as planned? Exactly. It doesn't. Not because you're unlucky, but because life is unpredictable by design. You can't control that, but you can control how prepared you are to meet it. So here's the Stoic's secret. Before the world attacks your peace, you take away its element of surprise. You wake up and ask, what could go wrong today? Who might disappoint me? What internal weakness might show up when I'm tired or anxious? You don't dwell on it. You don't manifest it. You preload your mind, like a general before a battle. So when the hard moment comes, it feels familiar. Here's how this changes the game. When someone cuts you off in traffic, you already expected it. You don't react. When a client cancels, a friend lies, a plan falls apart, you're not shocked. You're still, and that stillness, that's what sets you apart. Because while others crumble under pressure, you remain centered under chaos, not because you're emotionless, but because you saw it coming. Let me give you a visual. Picture a boxer. He doesn't wait to get hit in the face to realize punches hurt. He trains for it. He expects it. And that's why he can think while everyone else is panicking. The Stoic is no different. They don't wake up hoping the world is soft. They wake up knowing it can be sharp, but that their mind is sharper. Here's your reflection for today. If I knew that failure, rejection, loss, and betrayal were possible today, how would I carry myself differently? Would you be more grounded, more gracious, more prepared? The purpose of this practice isn't to be pessimistic. It's to stop being surprised, because life doesn't owe you a good mood. People don't owe you fairness. The day doesn't owe you predictability, but you owe it to yourself to be ready. And readiness is peace. So tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before the noise, before the rush, mentally rehearse one challenge you might face today. Imagine how you'll meet it. Picture your calm response. Visualize your grounded strength. Then go live it. Because the man who sees the storm before it comes doesn't fear the thunder when it arrives. 3. Reflect daily with brutal honesty, not guilt. Most people avoid silence. They think they're too busy, too tired, too overwhelmed. But the truth is, they avoid silence because they're scared of what it will say back. You see, reflection is one of the most powerful Stoic practices, and also the most uncomfortable. Why? Because it forces you to meet yourself, not the image, not the role, not the highlight reel you show the world. The real you, the you who made choices you're not proud of, the you who avoided what mattered, the you who said one thing and lived another. That version of you lives in the mirror of your own mind. And the Stoics visited that mirror daily, not to punish themselves but to grow. When the light has gone out, and my room is still, said Seneca, I examine my entire day. I hide nothing from myself. I pass judgment on myself without a lawyer. That's not guilt. That's truth. And truth doesn't shame you. It strengthens you. Because the man who reflects honestly doesn't repeat unconsciously. Ruse. So let me ask you, when was the last time you looked at your own patterns without excuses? Not I was tired, not they pushed me, not life's been hard, just I chose that, and I can choose better tomorrow. This is where the Stoic gains momentum, not through punishment, but through clarity. Reflection becomes your compass. It helps you recognize when your words didn't align with your values, when your ego led instead of your principles, when you shrank back from courage and called it wisdom. But here's the key. You reflect not to dwell, you reflect to direct. There's a difference between replaying your failures like a broken record and replaying them like a playbook, to study, to adjust, to rise. Most people avoid this because it stings, but the Stoic knows what stings now saves you later. Ruse. So try this tonight. Before bed, ask yourself just 3 questions. What did I do well today, and why? What did I avoid, and what fear was hiding behind that? Who was I when no one was watching? Sit with those answers. Don't edit them. Don't flinch. Let them teach you, because you are your own greatest teacher, but only if you're willing to face the curriculum you've been avoiding. And once you do, a strange thing happens. You start walking through each day more alert, more intentional, less wasteful with your words, time and energy, not because you're trying harder, but because last night's reflection burned away today's illusion. That's what gives you the edge. While others seek validation, you seek correction. While others defend their flaws, you improve them quietly. So remember, don't fear your own reflection. Fear becoming someone you don't recognize, because you were too busy to look. If this is resonating, don't just watch. Subscribe. This channel is for people who don't want surface-level motivation. It's for those building a deep foundation, day by day. If that's you, hit that button. Let's walk this path together, deliberately, steadily, quietly. Now let's go deeper. 4. Do one thing daily you're avoiding, without emotion. Here's a cold truth. Most people don't fail because life is hard. They fail because they avoid the one hard thing they were supposed to do every day. Not because they're lazy, not because they're broken, but because they've built a habit of letting emotion lead their decisions. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel inspired. They wait until it's comfortable enough to begin. But the Stoic doesn't wait. The Stoic acts without emotion, without bargaining, without needing the weather to be perfect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." He didn't say, get up when you feel motivated. He said, get up because you're built for this. That's the shift, because every day, without fail, you're avoiding something. Maybe it's the difficult conversation. Maybe it's the workout. Maybe it's opening the laptop and starting the thing you said you'd do tomorrow. Whatever it is, it has weight, and you carry it into every corner of your life, until you face it. Tomorrow. So ask yourself right now, what's the one thing I keep moving to the bottom of my to-do list, but always think about? That thing is your teacher, and until you confront it, you'll stay in emotional debt, owed to your own avoidance. But here's where Stoicism gives you a breakthrough. The Stoic doesn't need to feel good to act right. He shows up anyway. He opens the laptop, he laces the shoes, he makes the call. Not because it's pleasant, but because it's principled. Here's what most people never realize. The fear of doing the thing. That's where all your stress, your self-doubt, your mental fatigue hides. Not in the action itself, but in the energy you burn avoiding it. Let me give you a metaphor. Avoidance is like carrying a stone in your backpack every day. You may forget it's there, but it drags you down quietly, until one day your legs give out, and you call it burnout. But the Stoic, he picks up the stone, examines it, and puts it exactly where it belongs in the day's work. Because the longer you run from discomfort, the more power it has over you. So here's the practice. Every single day, do one thing you've been avoiding, even if you do it poorly. Even if it scares you, especially if it scares you, you'll start noticing something. The fear shrinks, the task becomes less mystical, and your self-respect quietly begins to build. Because self-trust is earned in the small moments, when no one's watching, when you didn't feel like it, but you did it anyway. 5. Speak less, mean more. We live in a world that rewards noise, but the Stoic knew, real strength makes the least sound. Today, people talk to prove they're important, to be heard, to win the argument. to fill the silence. But the more you speak, the more likely you are to betray your peace. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters." Translation: you don't need to perform wisdom to have it. The Stoic speaks with intention, not to dominate the room, not to defend his pride, not to be liked, but to add weight to his words and his presence. Every word either strengthens your character or cheapens it. So let me ask you, how many times have you said something just to clear the air? How many times have you explained yourself to people who already made up their mind? How many times have you let your mouth become a tool for your insecurity instead of your integrity? You see, the more we talk, the less we listen. And the less we listen, the further we drift from clarity. But the Stoic listens like a sculptor. He carves understanding out of silence. He observes tone, body, motive, and responds only when it serves the moment. There's a quiet discipline in that, a presence, a gravity. It's the difference between noise and impact. Toshu hears your reflection. Are my words building trust or draining it? Am I using language as a tool or as a mask? Because the truth is, most people talk because they're afraid to be misunderstood. But the Stoic accepts this risk. He knows being misunderstood for who you truly are is better than being admired for a version you had to explain. This is what gives you the edge. While others are defending themselves, you're developing yourself. While others are speaking to feel significant, you're creating significance in your silence. When you speak less, your words hit harder. When you pause longer, your message carries further. When you listen fully, your presence starts doing the talking. That's what makes you magnetic. Not the volume of your voice, but the clarity of your character. 6. Consciously choose discomfort once a day. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship. Why? Because suffering by choice strengthens your character. Suffering by surprise crushes it. So take the cold shower, skip the indulgence, wake up earlier, say no to comfort, on purpose. Each time you choose discomfort, you take power away from your excuses. And that's how you quietly create distance between you and everyone else who's still arguing with themselves every day. Remember this, the future doesn't belong to the frantic. It belongs to the anchored. It belongs to those who delay emotion, reflect daily, train under pressure, and remain grounded while the world chases chaos. These practices won't make you flashy. They'll make you formidable, because true growth is invisible until it's undeniable. Now, if this spoke to you, drop your answer to the comment question below. I want to read it. I want others to read it. And most importantly, I want you to see yourself written clearly. Stay steady, stay sharp, and keep showing up for yourself every single day.